Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
Nathan sat hunched over his desk, deep in the labyrinth of paperwork that chronicled human-alien relations, a task likened to navigating a minefield of cultural misunderstandings. The sun streamed through the expansive office window, painting the room in a soft, golden hue that contrasted sharply with his growing anxiety. Stacks of reports on interspecies etiquette and alien technology lay strewn about, remnants of sleepless nights spent racing against deadlines. Today's presentation on the successes and challenges of their treaty felt like a ticking time bomb, threatening to detonate his hopes for promotion. Knock knock. The gentle yet lilting voice drifted through the office, but it barely registered as Nathan rhythmically scribbled notes. His mind was overwhelmed with statistics and forecasts that seemed to blur together. "Come in," he called out, somewhat impatiently, still immersed in his thoughts. As the door swung open, time itself seemed to slow. Zyra entered, and the world around him dimmed in comparison to her vibrant presence. She was a work of art painted with the colors of the cosmos. Her skin shimmered in iridescent shades that reflected and refracted the light, a mesmerizing dance of emerald greens and deep blues. Her hair stood in delicate, tendril-like formations, and her large, expressive eyes sparkled with curiosity and warmth. In that moment, Nathan's heart pounded, not just from her otherworldly beauty, but from the abrupt shift in his focus. He was in the middle of rehearsing an embarrassing line from his presentation when she walked in, and he could hardly remember how to breathe. "Welcome, Zyra," he finally managed, irresistibly drawn to the enchanting aura that surrounded her. "I didn't expect you so soon." "Apologies for the interruption," Zyra replied, her voice a melodic blend of kindness and professionalism. "I wanted to begin organizing the files for the upcoming delegation meeting." Nathan barely processed her words. All he could think about was how the perfect opportunity for his newfound alien secretary had arrived at the worst possible time. His mind raced back to the half-hearted line he had been rehearsing. "And that is why human mating techniques are superior to." That thought echoed jarringly against the serenity she brought into the room and momentarily left him at a loss for words. Feeling the flush creep up his face, he awkwardly cleared his throat. "Of course. It's great to have you on board." Zyra's smile widened, her eyes twinkling in a way that sent strange shivers of warmth down his spine. "I am eager to help. Our cultures may be different, but working together makes us stronger, does it not?" As Nathan attempted to gather his scattered thoughts, he realized that this initial encounter held the potential for so much more than just a typical workday. Yet standing here, caught between a professional facade and a growing, unexplainable attraction, Nathan's mind was a tempest of conflicting emotions. How could he possibly focus on work when the world's most intriguing puzzle had just walked into his office? "Right. Let me show you the files I've prepared," he finally stammered, desperately trying to shift his focus back to business. As he gestured toward the clutter on his desk, he hoped to redirect both their thoughts, unaware that this unexpected pairing would lead to discoveries that neither of them could have anticipated. As they settled into their respective tasks, Nathan tried to maintain a semblance of professionalism. He pulled up the files he had spent countless hours compiling, desperately attempting to concentrate on the upcoming delegation meeting. However, the presence of Zyra beside him was a delightful, yet distracting challenge. "Here's the overview of the Targ delegation's proposal," he said, handing her a download link to the holographic file. "It outlines our mutual objectives and cultural sensitivities. We need to ensure the points about mating traditions are particularly well adapted to avoid any misunderstandings." "Ah, yes. The cultural nuances of relationship formation are fascinating," Zyra replied, her eyes reflecting genuine interest. She switched her attention to the glowing screen, her fingers gracefully navigating through the document. "In Tara culture, we view mating as a seamless bond of minds and bodies, rather than mere instinct. It's deeply emotional and spiritual." Nathan swallowed hard, suddenly aware of the implications of their partnership as Zyra's words began to linger in his mind. "All right. Well, humans can certainly be emotional too, but we have diverse approaches to, relationships." Zyra arched an eyebrow, her curiosity evident. Are there traditions in your culture that place importance on mating? The question stopped Nathan in his tracks. His cheeks warmed as he stumbled through his thoughts, unsure how to explain the complexities of human romance that could range from casual dating to deep, committed relationships. Well, yes, there are many, ways humans connect, but I suppose it's not always so straightforward. As she listened with rapt attention, Nathan felt a strange connection forming, one that transcended the professional boundaries they were initially meant to uphold. In the days that followed, their collaboration flourished amid the bureaucratic chaos of planet Earth, each day bringing new challenges and opportunities. They shared laughter over cultural misunderstandings, like the time Zyra offered Nathan a dish made from Zyra beans, a delicacy to her people, only to find it far too pungent for his human palate. Some things are better left untried, he joked, waving the remains of the dish as she laughed at his exaggerated grimace. As their bond deepened, Nathan noticed that Zyra not only excelled in her work, but also embodied a profound understanding of his struggles. She seemed genuinely invested in him, often encouraging him with a supportive word when he felt overwhelmed. You strive for connection and understanding, Nathan. That is an admirable quality, she told him one afternoon, her eyes sparkling with sincerity. Yet, secrets and uncertainties loomed over them. Nathan tried to shake the lingering thoughts of attraction. Interspecies relationships were still a hot topic, one filled with societal doubt and skepticism. Could they truly bridge such a vast cultural divide? But one evening, when work had finally settled, and the fluorescent lights of the office dimmed to a cozy ambience, Zyra flicked her gaze toward Nathan. You know, if you're open to it, I would like to learn more about your traditions. In Taric culture, we believe in taking on the challenges of understanding different partners. The warmth of her voice wrapped around him like a gentle breeze, beckoning him closer. Sure, he said, trying to keep his tone light. But where do we start? Maybe a dinner? She suggested, a hint of excitement lingering in her tone. I would love to experience how human dining expresses relationships. Nathan's heart raced at the thought. A casual dinner, filled with shared stories, and perhaps even unintentional flirting? It felt thrilling and terrifying all at once. Yet, the potential risk lay heavy in the air. His thoughts were interrupted by the sharp beep of his communicator, where an urgent reminder blinked on the screen. Details of the upcoming interspecies delegation meeting. Oh, work first. We can definitely work on that dinner afterward, he said, trying to appear nonchalant, though internally he wrestled with the implications of their growing connection. Of course. But do remember, Zyra replied with soft smile, her voice almost a whisper. The beauty of understanding lies in taking risks. Little did Nathan know that their evening of shared risk would soon come sooner than he anticipated, and it would change everything. As the days turned into weeks, Nathan found himself increasingly captivated by the dynamic energy Zyra brought into their workplace. Her vibrant presence transformed the office from a mundane environment filled with bureaucratic paperwork into a lively arena of curiosity and innovation. Together, they worked seamlessly on the upcoming interspecies delegation, weaving their insights into reports that sparkled with the promise of progress. Zyra had an exceptional ability to view problems through her alien perspective, which encouraged Nathan to rethink his approach. Where once he had seen roadblocks, Zyra saw opportunities, and slowly, Nathan began to adapt this fresh outlook. One afternoon, while poring over a complex document discussing trade agreements, Zyra looked up from her work. You know, Nathan, a great way to strengthen our bond is to explore each other's cultures deeper. Understanding each other can only make our collaboration stronger. Nathan met her gaze, intrigued and slightly daunted by the idea. I'm all for that, but where do we even begin? Zyra smiled, a light dancing in her eyes. Perhaps we could start with a traditional Taric meal, and in return, I can experience one of your favorite human culinary delights. This exchange could not only be educational, but also enjoyable. The thought stirred both excitement and nervousness in Nathan. Sharing a meal was one thing, but it was layered with unvoiced implications and an intimacy that both thrilled and terrified him. That sounds great, he replied, trying to sound casual. But let's do it over the weekend. It'll give us both time to prepare. As the weekend approached, Nathan found himself anxiously organizing his thoughts. He had never considered how his world would collide with Zyra's. He worked late into the night preparing a typical human dinner, pasta with tomato sauce, paired with a nice bottle of wine. It was simple, but he hoped it would convey warmth and hospitality. On the evening of their dinner, he was surprised by the mixture of anticipation and anxiety simmering within him. The doorbell rang, and he quickly smoothed his attire, attempting to shake off the jitters. When he opened the door, Zyra stood there, cloaked in an elegant attire that somehow merged the ethereal aesthetics of her species with the casual style of Earth fashion. She looked radiant, and the atmosphere seemed to shimmer with her presence. "Zyra, you look amazing," Nathan stammered, utterly captivated. "Thank you. I wanted to honor your tradition," she replied, stepping inside and taking in her surroundings. As she examined the small nuances of his home, Nathan felt a sense of pride swell in his chest. "Here's what I prepared." He gestured toward the table, adorned with simple but carefully placed decorations. The aroma of the pasta wafted through the air, and he hoped it wouldn't come off as too mundane. Zyra looked relieved. "This smells delightful. I've been eager to understand human flavors." As they sat down together, Nathan couldn't help but feel an immediate sense of comfort, transcending the boundaries of their respective worlds. They began to eat, exchanging stories about their childhoods, their traditions, and the peculiarities of their respective cultures. Nathan shared the nostalgic tale of family dinners that filled his home with laughter and love, while Zyra unveiled fascinating insights into the ceremonial bonding practices of her people, where communal meals served as profound acts of unity and understanding. "Food is a vessel of connection," Zyra said as they finished their meal. "It brings minds together as much as hearts." Her words resonated with Nathan, revealing a truth that both amazed and inspired him. As the evening continued, they ventured into uncharted territory, sharing thoughts about love, relationships, and the qualities that drew them to one another. Nathan found himself drawn to the way Zyra articulated her emotions. Her frankness mingled with a delicate depth that left him spellbound. "My culture views mating not merely as a physical union, but as a merging of existence," Zyra said, her gaze unwavering. "It is a commitment to understand and cherish one another fully." When she finished speaking, the air grew thick with tension, a bittersweet reminder of the vast cultural differences that sat between them like a chasm. Nathan's heartbeat quickened as he met her gaze, filled with a mixture of wonder and fear. "Zyra, it's difficult for me to grasp all of this," he confessed, his voice shaky. "But I can't deny there's something extraordinary between us." Zyra moved slightly closer, her expression softening. "There's uncertainty in every worthwhile connection, Nathan. The courage to explore those feelings is what defines us." Just as he was about to respond, the moment was interrupted by the sharp buzz of Nathan's communicator, jolting him back to reality. An urgent notification flashed across the screen, an issue report requiring immediate attention regarding the delegation meeting. Sensing the disruption, Nathan felt a wave of disappointment wash over him. They were on the brink of a significant moment, one that could reshape their connection, and it had been shattered by a reminder of the outside world. "Duty calls," Nathan muttered, forcing a smile that barely hid the unease inside him. "Let's tackle this, and we can continue our conversation after." "Of course," Zyra replied, though Nathan detected a hint of disappointment in her voice. As they shifted back into work mode, he couldn't shake the feeling that their encounter was only the beginning of a complex journey filled with unexpected twists. The tension had been electrifying and revealing in equal measure, and he knew that navigating that path with Zyra would be filled with challenges, temptations, and profound revelations. Nathan felt the weight of anticipation pressing on him as he and Zyra entered the sleek conference room for the interspecies delegation meeting. The air buzzed with a mix of excitement and tension. Representatives from both Earth and the Tara gathered to finalize key trade agreements. Today was crucial. The success of their collaboration hinged on this meeting. Zyra stood beside him, a vision of ethereal elegance in her flowing, iridescent gown that shimmered like starlight. Her presence was calming, infusing him with a renewed sense of confidence as he prepared to face the challenges ahead. Are you ready for this? She asked softly, her large eyes shining with trust. More than ever, he replied, forcing a smile despite the nerves dancing in his stomach. As Nathan began to present the proposal, he noticed the varied reactions of the alien delegates. Some leaned forward with interest, while others exchanged skeptical glances that hinted at rising tensions. Just as Nathan summarized the cultural and economic benefits of the treaty, one of the senior human officials interrupted. Are we truly confident in the Tarek's intentions? This could very well be a ploy to undermine our economy. Nathan felt Zyra stiffen beside him, but he could see the determination in her eyes as she prepared to respond. The atmosphere shifted dangerously as voices began to rise, the room morphing into a battleground of accusations and distrust. Now wait a minute, Nathan interjected, desperation creeping into his tone. This is about partnership, about unity. We cannot let fear dictate our actions. Zyra and her people came here to collaborate, not compete. But before he could finish, a tremor rocked the building, sending a wave of panic swirling through the delegates. The lights flickered ominously as an alarm blared, and an automated voice chimed through the intercom. Emergency lockdown initiated. Unknown breach detected. The room erupted into chaos. Delegates scrambled for the exits, shouting over one another as confusion ruled the day. Nathan felt his heart race. The work he had poured his soul into was unraveling before his eyes. Zyra, Nathan called out, maneuvering through the throng of panicked bodies to reach her. He could see her wide-eyed with fear, her composure shaken by the chaos surrounding them. We need to stick together, he urged, grabbing her hand tightly. Let's find a safe place. With determination driving them, they cut through the crowd, dodging frantic conversations and uncertainty. As they entered a dimly lit side corridor, Nathan felt the weight of the moment, a cocktail of adrenaline and fear coursing through him. They reached an isolated conference room and locked the door behind them, the echoes of chaos muffled by the heavy barrier. Inside the secluded room, there was a moment of suspended time, a lull that heightened the silent promise of uncertainty between them. The reality of their situation sank in, and Nathan turned to Zyra, breathing heavily. Do you think it's a terrorist attack? Her voice trembled slightly, exposing the underlying fear that both of them shared. I don't know, Nathan replied, trying to project calm even as his heart pounded. We just need to stay focused and wait for more information. As they stood side by side, their closeness ignited an electric tension that filled the air. Each second felt stretched, heavy with unsaid words and shared feelings. Nathan glimpsed the vulnerability in Zyra's eyes, an acknowledgement that transcended their cultural differences. Zyra, Nathan began, but the sound of pounding fists against the door jolted him back to reality. Panic surged through him. Get down, he yelled, instinctively pulling Zyra close as the door rattled ominously. They slid behind the nearest table, hearts racing in synchrony. The distant sounds of commotion painted a vivid picture of chaos outside, overwhelming Nathan's senses. He could almost feel Zyra's heartbeat matching his, amplifying the urgency of the moment. Do you think we're safe here? She whispered, her voice trembling but steady in the face of fear, eyes locked onto his, searching for reassurance. The pounding against the door continued, but Nathan remained focused on Zyra. She was beside him, a steadfast presence amid the chaos, and he felt a protective instinct rise within him. They had been thrust together in this moment, but the danger outside created a strange intimacy that wrapped around them like a thin veil. Whatever happens, I need you to stay close to me, Nathan said, watching her intently. He could see the confidence draining slightly from her face, replaced by uncertainty. I will, she replied, her voice steadying as she squeezed his hand. Just then, the door creaked open, and Nathan's heart leapt into his throat. They both held their breath, waiting to see who or what would come through. The figure that appeared was not an enemy, but one of the security personnel, eyes wide, panting. Are you two okay? We need to evacuate the area immediately, the guard urged. Zyra and Nathan exchanged a quick look, a silent communication passing between them. They weren't just colleagues anymore. They were partners, facing an unknown together. As they emerged from the conference room, Nathan felt a surge of urgency pushing him forward. The corridor was still filled with chaos, but the guard directed them toward a safe exit, assuring them it was clear. They navigated through hallways filled with echoes of whispered fears and uncertainty, but Nathan's grip on Zyra's hand never faltered. Upon reaching a secured area, Nathan paused, looking back at Zyra. "We made it. We're safe for now." "Thank you for being brave," she said earnestly, her eyes locked onto his. "Not just now, but throughout this entire journey. I have seen you grow from cautious to courageous, and it inspires me." In that charged moment, Nathan felt a rush of emotions crash over him: relief, gratitude, and the undeniable affection he had begun to cultivate for Zyra. "I couldn't have done it without you. Your strength has been a light in all the confusion." Suddenly, the alarm blared again, cutting through their momentary calm, and news erupted on the screens above. A tactical breach had occurred in the building, and they were monitoring the situation closely. "What happens now?" Zyra asked, her demeanor shifting to one of concern. "Now, we stay alert and find out more information," Nathan replied, his heart rate still elevated. As he scanned the room, he saw the worry etched on the faces of the gathered humans and Tariq delegates. Their fragile alliance teetered on the brink of collapse. The tension in the room escalated as an emergency protocol was discussed among the leaders, and Nathan listened closely, acutely aware of Zyra just beside him. They were a team now, not just in work, but in navigating the unintended consequences of their situations together. "Once we resolve this, we need to address the bigger picture," Nathan said quietly to Zyra, who nodded in agreement. After several tense minutes of updates, they were informed that the situation was largely under control. A gang of rogue operatives had infiltrated the building, but the security team had managed to contain them. A wave of relief swept through the room, and conversations about next steps began to fill the air. Time felt elastic around them, as Nathan reflected on the whirlwind they had just navigated. The experience shifted his perspective, solidified their connection, and made him realize how intertwined their fates had become. "Zyra," Nathan started, his heart racing again as he built the courage to voice what lay on his mind. They had faced real peril together. "I think what I mean is this: what we have, it's something I want to explore further." Zyra looked deeply into his eyes, her expression a mixture of surprise and understanding. "I feel it too, Nathan. Our connection is unique, perhaps even extraordinary, but we must consider the implications. Our worlds are different." He took a step closer, erasing the distance that separated them, the before nervousness evolving into a vivid anticipation. "I know, but what if we embrace it? Explore where this connection leads us?" Nathan's heart pounded in his chest as he awaited her response. Time stood still as they shared the moment, an invisible thread weaving their destinies together tighter, stronger. "Then let us proceed with caution and courage," Zyra said softly, a radiant smile breaking through the remnants of tension. "I am willing to discover the path that lies ahead, side by side." "Together," Nathan affirmed, feeling a rush of warmth envelop them both. In that instant, he was filled with hope for not only their relationship, but also for the future they could shape together. With renewed determination, they stepped into the next phase of their partnership, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead, both in their professional endeavors and the blossoming relationship that dared to bridge the gap between worlds. As Nathan and Zyra prepared to address the gathering of delegates, the future shimmered before them, bright with possibilities that both excited and terrified him. Whatever awaited them, he realized he wouldn't want to navigate it with anyone else by his side. In the days that followed the emergency incident, the aftermath rippled through both the human and Tariq communities. The shaken alliance faced scrutiny from all sides, and the delicate threads of trust they had worked so hard to weave were strained. Nathan found himself navigating the tumultuous waters of diplomacy while simultaneously grappling with the evolving reality of his relationship with Zyra. As they returned to their daily routines, Nathan noticed a palpable shift in the office atmosphere. Whispers filled the hallways, and his colleagues' gazes flickered with judgment whenever he walked in alongside Zyra. Some viewed him as a pioneer of interspecies collaboration, while others whispered of betrayal to human norms. Nathan's heart sank whenever he overheard their disdainful murmurs. Zyra, on the other hand, faced her own challenges within the Tariq faction. As the discussions surrounding the breach intensified, her commitment to the alliance put her at odds with some traditionalists who believed engaging with humans was a dilution of Tariq culture. "You should be careful, Zyra," one of her colleagues warned her in hushed tones one afternoon, his voice tinged with concern. "Working closely with him could weaken your standing in our community." "Why should commitment to understanding be a weakness?" Zyra replied, her voice steady yet firm. "Nathan has shown dedication toward our kind and is a bridge to a prosperous future. The trade agreements can bring about positive change for both our species." But doubts clouded her heart as she returned to her office that evening. Alone, she sat at her desk, freezing as memories of Nathan's warmth filled her thoughts. She couldn't shake the fear that their burgeoning relationship was being scrutinized, questioned, and perhaps even criticized. Meanwhile, Nathan buried himself in work, increasingly aware of the precariousness surrounding both their worlds. Late nights spent drafting presentations and planning meetings left little room for personal reflection. Still, he felt the connection he had forged with Zyra lingering in every exchanged glance, in every brush of their hands, a reminder that they were navigating this uncharted territory together. One evening, as they sat in Nathan's office preparing for an upcoming meeting, the tension broke the silence. Zyra looked up at him, concern etched across her soft features. "Nathan, do you think this is worth it? I've been struggling with the reactions from my people, from your people." Nathan leaned back in his chair, running a hand through his hair. "I've been feeling the pressure too. It's as if everyone is waiting to see us fail." "It is more than just that," Zyra pressed gently. "They don't understand our connection. It feels like we're on display, like some experiment. Many Tariq believe you're not worth the risks, a distraction from our purpose." Nathan felt a pang of frustration and heartache. "But we are worth it," he exclaimed. "What if our connection leads to a real partnership, something both our worlds can benefit from?" Zyra's large eyes softened, and she spoke with quiet determination. "But it needs to be more than just a bold decision. It must be seen as a bridge, not a division. Perhaps it is time we take a step back and reflect on how to better communicate our intentions." "What do you mean?" Nathan asked, intrigued yet apprehensive. "I think we need to show them," she proposed. "Not just tell them. We must reveal the strength of our bond. It could shift their perceptions, but it would require openness, honesty, and vulnerability from both of us." Nathan nodded, feeling the weight of her words resonating deeply within him. "You're right. Maybe we can organize a joint session, something that emphasizes unity rather than division. We can highlight the benefits of interspecies cooperation by sharing our experiences." As they brainstormed ideas, a flicker of hope ignited within Nathan. "Let's also incorporate a cultural exchange," he suggested. "We can demonstrate how our traditions can coexist, perhaps even create a unique experience combining both of our cultures." Zyra's smile grew, a radiant light breaking through the tension. "That is an excellent idea. A celebration of unity would drive the message home." The following weeks were a whirlwind of excitement and preparation. The duo coordinated events, shared stories, and engaged colleagues from both cultures to craft an inclusive experience that honored both humanity and the Tariq. As the day of the event approached, Nathan felt a mix of exhilaration and anxiety coursing through him. Would they receive acceptance, or would skepticism continue to cast shadows over their endeavors? He turned to Zyra, who remained a steadfast anchor amidst the whirlwind. When the day finally arrived, the venue thrummed with energy. Humans and Tariq delegates mingled, curious to experience what Nathan and Zyra had orchestrated. The air was filled with the delightful aromas of earthy Tariq dishes and human fare, symbolizing their efforts to blend their cultures. As Nathan and Zyra welcomed their guests, he could feel a shift in the energy around them. The conversations buzzed with intrigue rather than judgment, and laughter echoed through the hall. Standing side by side, they took a moment to appreciate the scene, a testament to their commitment to reshaping perceptions. But even within the brightness, Nathan sensed the lingering tension. There were still eyes watching, skepticism brewing beneath the surface. "Nathan, do you think this will work?" Zyra asked, worry etching her features. I believe in us, he said firmly, and in what we're building together. After a successful introduction, showcasing their cultures, the highlight of the evening turned towards an open forum, a chance for attendees to ask questions and engage directly with Nathan and Zyra about their journey together. As they stood on stage, Nathan felt the weight of the moment, but when he looked at Zyra, her encouraging presence steadied him. "I'll handle this," he whispered before addressing the crowd. "Today, we stand here representing our shared commitment to building a better future," he began, his voice echoing with determination. "What's important is that our connection is not about sacrifice, but understanding each other, learning to thrive despite our differences. It's about growing together." One of the human officials raised a hand, skepticism evident. "But what makes you believe that this relationship is necessary? Is it really worth the trouble?" Nathan took a deep breath, glancing at Zyra and recalling their personal encounters, the uncertainties, the struggles, and the courage to embrace love across boundaries. Because what we have is more than just a relationship. It's an opportunity to heal and connect. It challenges us to redefine norms and embrace a greater perspective. Zyra added, her voice rich with emotion, "As Tarek, we believe in unity through understanding. Together, we can share insights that will benefit both species, rather than succumbing to fear and doubt." The atmosphere shifted then, an energy rippling through the crowd, blurring the lines between skepticism and openness. As the night wore on, Nathan and Zyra engaged with curious delegates, answering questions and fostering discussions that redirected the narrative toward collaboration and understanding. As the forum concluded with genuine laughter, Nathan caught a glimpse of hope flourishing amidst the doubt. When they stood together on the stage after the crowds had begun to disperse, he felt a surge of triumph course through him. "We did it," he said, turning to her, a wide grin on his face. "Indeed," Zyra replied, her eyes shining with pride. "But this is only the beginning. We must cultivate our connection and foster acceptance, not just in our worlds, but within ourselves." Nathan encircled her with his arm, feeling the warmth of her presence enveloping him in a newfound sense of belonging. For the first time, the path ahead felt illuminated, alive with possibilities that transcended the boundaries of their cultures. Together, they could spark change, not just for their own relationship, but for the future of all who dared to cross the chasm that separated them. The success of the cultural exchange event marked a turning point in the relationship between humans and the Tarek. Enthusiasm surged through both communities as curiosity replaced suspicion. Nathan and Zyra emerged not just as partners in their work, but as figures of a new vision, a fusion of worlds that offered a glimpse of what could be accomplished when barriers were broken down. As weeks turned into months, Nathan and Zyra continued to lead efforts aimed at solidifying the fragile alliance. They coordinated joint initiatives that focused on shared values and experiences, fostering greater understanding among both species. The personal connection they had nurtured served as a beacon of hope, guiding others to believe in the possibilities of interspecies collaboration. One evening, as they stood together on the balcony overlooking the city, the soft glow of the setting sun painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Nathan turned to Zyra, his heart swelling with gratitude for everything they had achieved. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" he remarked, leaning against the railing. "It feels surreal to think about how uncertain we once were." Zyra smiled, her luminescent skin radiating in the fading light. "Indeed, but what we have built is still fragile. We must continue to nurture it, not just between our species, but within ourselves." His gaze shifted to the distant cityscape, where the thriving centers of human and Tarek life intertwined like threads in a tapestry. "I used to think that my world was defined by rigid connections, by walls that separated us from partners, from possibilities. But you've taught me that love knows no boundaries." Zyra reached out, intertwining her fingers with his, her warmth anchoring him in the moment. "And you have shown me how to embrace curiosity and vulnerability, to walk boldly into the unknown. This journey is not just ours. It belongs to everyone willing to listen." As their hands rested together, Nathan pondered the uncharted territory of their relationship. He could not ignore the worries that occasionally crept up within him, the long conversations they'd had about navigating their different cultures and the challenges they faced. But all of that paled in comparison to the dreams they had forged together. One evening, as they prepared for a gala, celebrating the success of their initiatives, Nathan took a moment to pause and approach the subject that weighed heavily on his mind. "Zyra," he began tentatively, "where do we go from here?" "What do you mean?" she asked, her brow furrowing gently in thought. "I mean, with everything we've accomplished, I can't help but wonder about us. I want to explore this bond we share even deeper, but I worry about what it means in the grander scheme of our worlds." Zyra moved closer, her gaze turning serious. "Nathan, what we have created together is a rare gift. It has the power to change perceptions, to ignite hope, but it also requires commitment, understanding, and the courage to face whatever challenges arise." "I understand," he assured her, squeezing her hand. "I want to stand by you, to support you and our shared vision. I want to continue fighting for our connection, no matter the complexity it brings." An entrancing smile spread across Zyra's face, illuminative warmth radiating from her. "Then we shall do this together. Let us dare to forge our own path, adapt our traditions, and intertwine our lives in ways that reflect the beauty of who we are, Tariq and human." That night, as they stepped into the gala, guests from both societies showered them with applause, celebrating the achievements born through collaboration. Nathan and Zyra stood side by side, their hands clasped firmly. They exchanged radiant smiles, filled with promises of new adventures. Together, they had built bridges where once there were walls. As the evening unfolded, Nathan felt a sense of belonging flourish within him. The boundaries of past fears melted away, replaced by optimism for the journey ahead. He realized that rather than being defined by their differences, they were constructing a new narrative that honored and celebrated the distinctiveness of both their worlds. Later, as they danced together beneath the soft lights of the gala, Zyra leaned in closer, whispering, "Promise me we'll never stop learning, growing, and embracing the complexities of our existence." "I promise," Nathan replied earnestly. "We'll explore this journey together, hand in hand, no matter where it leads." As the song played on, they lost themselves in the rhythm, hearts entwined, no matter the barriers the galaxy may still hold. With every step they took, every laugh shared, they reveled in the beauty of their connection, knowing that together they could overcome whatever challenges lay ahead. And in that cosmic dance, they became more than just a human and an alien. They embodied the change they wished to see, a beacon of hope for generations to come. With their hands held tightly and hearts intertwined, Nathan and Zyra faced the future boldly, ready to write a story that would inspire not just their own worlds, but the universe beyond.